Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and I didn't show up last week because I had a cold. It seems like every time I go out of town, I come back with a cold. You know, last summer I went to Mr. Pete's get-together, got a real corker of a cold, and had my ears plugged up on the plane home. Well, Labor Day weekend we go to the Weiss family reunion, and I picked up a cold. Of course, I didn't know it until, we got back. Started off the morning sneezing, and by the afternoon I knew I was in for it. And so I spent the whole week mostly doing nothing except blowing my nose and hacking and coughing and things like that. And then we got into the second week here, and I really haven't done much of anything here either. Now, I did every morning through that thing. I went every morning for practice because the Steel Challenge was this past Sunday. And the month before last, I did 12 seconds slower than my best time. And so this month I improved on that by 2 seconds. But I'm still in the 80-second range. I had 80 point something seconds. And I want to be down to 60 something seconds. I don't think I'm going to make it, but you know how that goes. Keep practicing, they say. Anyway, we're here about the plasma table. Haven't hit a lick at it in 10, 12 days, but I thought I'd get out here and excuse me. I'm not over cold yet. Thought I'd get over here and mess with it a little bit and show you all the ideas that I've changed my mind about how to suspend the metal 2 or 3 different times, and I think I've finally come up with a much better, easier way to do it. So I'll go ahead and show you that. All right. Just for your amusement, Saturday thought I'd throw my chair and my little red wagon in the back of the truck so that I didn't have to do it Sunday morning. So I came through here, pushed that camouflage chair out of my way. Over there you got the little red wagon. And then I looked down the ladder there to see where my chair might be, because it's always folded up laying on that ladder. And it wasn't there. And I thought, oh, darn it, I've gone off and left it at the range again, this time for a month. I probably won't get it back. So I walk around here and think, well, I bought another one for the utility room so I can change shoes in there. And then finally my brain actually worked, and I came back and I thought, well, there's your stupid chair right there. You've been sitting in it for a month. Only an old redneck could have this kind of a problem. It's kind of like losing your glasses and they're on top of your head. It's that same sort of thing. Alright, the torch is mounted there, and it's halfway up and halfway down, which means that whatever I suspend the little grid on is not really going to be all that far down, because I've got another 1.5 inches I can drop the torch. There, that little ruler across there is the level that I intended to mount something onto the brackets. First I was going to make sort of a U-shaped thing, that would hook into both sides and set the grid on it and make about 3 pieces and weld it together. I don't like welding, especially with a cold, so I thought it over some. I thought, no, the best thing for me to do is to bolt into those holes that I was using the U-bolts in, bolt some brackets on there, and put a bolt down through them to whatever support I'm going to have under the grid, so that I can crank it up or down by adjusting the bolt. I can make it level, and I can adjust the height if I got something thicker or whatever. And so that's the path we're going to take today. Oh, and I got a couple of these. This is to turn the torch on. Little transistorized relays. They've been here for a good week waiting for me to get up the ambition to do something. So I don't know how much we're going to get done, but we'll do something. Well, I looked around in the junk pile over there, and I've got 3 of these little guys. This one started to be something else. But it'll fit just right for the boats. And it doesn't matter if it's got a little something. I was going to build something else out of this stuff. I don't know what, but I've got 3, and that means I've only got to cut 1. And this project's going to start on the bandsaw. This is probably the height of laziness, but I just don't want to drag the other saw out in the middle of the floor and plug it in. Isn't that lazy or what? Besides, this will take a long time, and I can stand here and watch it. Or maybe I could sit here and watch it. After all, I found my chair, didn't I? Alright, so I'm going to put holes in it that line up with the ones I was using these on. Then I'll put one in the middle of each one of them. And that should do the job. I checked out the distance there with this tri-square, and I think I got it where they'll be about even. So I guess it's time to mark it and get on with the job. These guys are 3/8. I think they're 3/8. Yeah. No. 5/16 maybe. That's not as much fun. 5/16. Yeah, they look like 5/16. Alright. So anyway, I've got to get half of 5/16 added to this to make my marks. You guys wait, I gotta take off my shoes and count here. Alright, I got it. Now we'll go ahead and mark these little boogers so that I can drill them. It's in a very exact mark. I guess what I should do is get my Randy Richards scribe. I think that's what I'll do. Hang on. Okay, we got our Randy Richards scribe. Now then we can do it right for sure. See how much further over that mark is than the black mark? I would have been all out of accuracy. It's going to be bad enough when I go to drill the holes. I'll make a big enough mess doing that without starting off marking it wrong. So there you go. I'll bring you guys back when I get to marking all these. This isn't very exciting. So we'll take a center punch and we'll try to get close to where the lines cross. I think I was asleep that day in class when they told you how to make them match up. My stuff's never on the line. And I do like Mr. Pete said, I feel for the little groove and all that sort of thing. And I still get them wrong. Alright, now I've got to take these things, roll them over like that, put a hole in here for the adjusting bolt. It's going to hold up all the weight. And so that means you're going to have to measure and take my shoes off again and count and all that sort of thing. So let you guys take another nap. Alright, we're all marked for the hole for the adjusting bolt. We're marked for the mounting bolts. So the only thing left now is to drill a bunch of holes. And to do that, I got to get a drill bit. Well, my long months of experience has taught me that if I drill straight through there, it's probably not going to come out the same place on the other side. I think maybe that's caused the piece gets crooked in the vise or something. So what I'm going to do is I just run the vise jaw up to touch it, and we will deal with the thing climbing up the drill bit or whatever. And I'm going to try to drill right straight through. Probably not advisable, but then hey, I'm a redneck. I got to make a mistake somewhere. We'll measure to the side of this one. Well, yeah, we'll measure right up to the side of it. And then we'll roll it over and measure up to the side of that one, and look at that. Nowhere near right on the side of that one. Well, by golly, it is. That's the same. And that's first time I've been wrong in about an hour. Oh well, we'll just go on like this. Why not? You already saw me make that little mess, so I'm going to drill them in quiet here without you having to watch. Well, we've drilled a little bit, so now we need to deburr a little bit. I think I'll just get some 1/4-inch threaded rod to suspend the things with, so I'm going to stop on drilling 1/4-inch holes. That little booger deburrs in a hurry. And I'm going to tell you guys what, I imagine I've been out here about an hour, maybe a little over, and my legs tell me to go sit down. And I'm not feeling like going on any further today, so I'll show you what I did over there, and then we'll knock off for today. I used the scissor lift to move that grid underneath of everything there, and cranked it up where it's close. And I was going to try the scissor lift down, and I still am because I haven't place to put it. But anyway, I'm going to use it for now because it's handy to hold that thing up while I work out the last little details of hanging the grid under there. Now, having got that far with this, I really am now going to knock off and go in the house and take several naps and watch a couple of YouTube videos. Yeah, we'll make 2 more cuts. 30 inches will go across the bottom. 30, see that thing? The belt come off. I mean the blade come off. I hate that. Actually, being lazy can work you to death. I got to feeling better, so I came back out. Alright, yesterday after I gave up and went in, I came back out and did a little bit of work. I got those pieces painted up that I'd cut and drilled. I went to Home Depot and got some stove bolts to go in there to screw them onto. And I cut the pieces that are going to go across underneath there and hold up the grid. So what we got to do today is bolt all that together and see how it comes out. Now, I didn't drill the holes in the cross pieces, so I got to drill those first, and I'll just go ahead and do that off camera. Alright, so it's time to screw the little boogers on the side here, and of course I've got the hole closer to the side than to anywhere. Once you get them kind of tight, the square head on the bolt starts sinking into the edges of the hole I've got drilled, and it'll hold itself pretty good. But until you get that close, you got to hang on to the bolt with something else. and that's the something else. So I got to do this 4 times, and then we'll be ready to hang the little cross pieces. Alright, we got the grid hanging there from the 2 cross pieces. A little lopsided, admittedly, but I'm going to put a sheet of metal up there to use to kind of level it out. That just more or less is an exact fit. Now all I have to do is start cranking it up until I'm a reasonable distance from the torch, and sort of level it all off and lock the nuts in on the bolts, and this thing will be level. And you don't have to watch me do all that, because I'm sure I'll suffer along for a while. Alright, so I moved the gantry all over, all 4 corners, and set it up with that 1-inch rod. Which means the torch itself is within about 3/4 to 1/2 an inch of the top of the metal there. And I think that's probably good enough for preliminary leveling. Now I'll have to very carefully get this thing back out off the table there. But it seems to be about as level as it's going to get for right now, and that's probably great. So I've still got a couple of things to do. I've got to move the limit switches to a different input so that soft limits work better, and I've got to install the output that goes to the torch. So in the next video we'll open up the torch and solder some wires onto the switch. We'll install the relay, and we'll move all the contacts, the inputs and the outputs, to where they're going to wind up for the final everything. And I guess now we'll go see if Bubba's up to anything, or Ole, or Thibodeau, or somebody. Well, it seems like Boudreaux inherited this farm down there in Plaquemine Parish there in Louisiana. So he moved down there and decided to start raising chickens. He built him a big old chicken house and got a lot of chickens and running around there. He figured they needed to be free-range chickens, because that was the end thing these days, you know. And so he let them all run, you know, all on this farm there. Sure enough, here come the state, and they built a highway right jam up against his farm, you know. And the cars would come by there so fast they'd just suck the chickens out on the road and they'd get killed. Well, that upset Boudreaux. That upset Boudreaux a lot, on account of, you know, he was losing money. Those chickens cost him a lot of money. So he called the state police, and he asked them to come out and put up a sign or something to stop these, you know, stop these people from going so fast. And they put up a sign. Didn't do a bit of good. They was just coming right on by doing the same thing. So he called state police back and told them, you got to put up another sign or something. So they come out and they put another sign up. Still didn't help. And there was Boudreaux. He was calling every day to complain. One day he called in and he asked the sergeant there, he says, look, he says, is it okay if I put up my own sign? The sergeant thought, well, this guy's a problem. I get rid of him. Yeah, put up a sign. So after about a week gone by, the sergeant realized Boudreaux hadn't called him, you know, at all. So he got curious, and he drove out there to see what Boudreaux had put up. As he got up there close to Boudreaux's place, there's a big old sign that says, slow, caution, nudist colony ahead. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.